everybody. Welcome to the STEMspired Podcast. I'm Dr. Mia, and today we're gonna dive into the journeys. We want to inspire our community, let everybody know that you can do anything in STEM, and we want to be able to uplift everybody and be able to come together as a community. So today on the STEMspired Podcast, we're excited to welcome Moriana Rankins, and she's passionate and emerging scientist, making waves in both the classroom and in the lab. And right now, she's currently at Savannah State University. She's also supported in the foundational chemistry learning as a STEM learning assistant. And she's been dedicated to helping students grasp complex scientific concepts and shines through her mentorship. And she also has been a part of research at the University of Puerto Rico. And beyond the lab, she's also deeply involved in STEM outreach. She's an inspiring example of how curiosity, community, and science can all come together. And so we're very thrilled to have her on STEMspired today. So thank you for coming on. Welcome. Okay, let me.
Thank you. Hi, y'all. My name is Moriana.
Yeah, so just tell us a little bit about yourself. Give a brief introduction about you regarding your professional and personal journey.
Of course, my name is Moriana Rankins. I was born in Germany, but I grew up mostly in Riverdale, Georgia. I started to become curious in science when I was 8 years old, just having a passion for it and everything. And also, that is when my granddad sadly passed away from cancer. So that really became inspired. That really made me inspire with cancer research and things of that nature. And like the health disparities between the African American community compared to our counterparts and just things of that nature, and like seeing when we don't have access to healthcare, um, unfortunately, what happens. So seeing those things at an early age really inspired me into like doing science. And then I was like, I don't want to do the medical doctor because all the blood and all that stuff. So I was like, what else can I do? So I started looking into it. I started doing a lot of research because a lot of the family that is a part of STEM is more like engineers and stuff. And I'm not that good at math. I'm good enough in math to get by in science, but not good enough for engineering. So I knew I didn't
Likewise.
want to do engineering. Yeah. I knew science was the right way for me to go to make my impact. And yeah, and then undergraduate, my first year, I focused on really trying to make sure I became debt free. So finding as many full funded scholarships, mixed and master scholarships, where now, of course, not only is my school paid for, but I get paid to go to school. And after that, I realized I wasn't getting as many opportunities as other big HBCU students or just PWI students in general. And, instead of doubting myself and being like, well, I guess it's just because I go to Savannah State. Oh, I guess it's just how the circumstances are. I was like, it's research and it's different opportunities for people specifically in this situation like me. So that's when I found out about RUs, and that's when I found out that we used to have the Marquee program and things of that nature. And unfortunately, that grant funding is just no longer at Savannah State University. Um, and where we have now like Peace Lamp and stuff like that. So just finding those resources through research and everything really helped me with my journey.
That is so amazing. And I'm very inspired, especially as a Savannah State alum myself. And being able, we had access to Mark U Star. So I couldn't imagine how difficult it could be, with those resources not in place. But you overcome, you killing the game, and you still doing it despite, those challenges. So I know you talked about um how your grandfather and those experiences with him inspired you to become a scientist. But outside of those things, did you see anything regarding scientifically that sparked your curiosity to propel you towards this path?
Sorry, but looking into it, I was also looking into like why a lot of people don't look into Black women research, like women reproductive wellness and just things of that nature. And of course, they're not gonna look into that because that's not too like it's not a lot of research being done, or research is just now being done in recent years. But now due to the fact of all this grant funding being pulled and stuff, it's just not a big concern. So I kind of wanted to figure out, well, if nobody else is going to do the research for Black women, then of course Black women should do the research for themselves. Because who else is going to do it for them? So that's what also sparked the interest. Especially just talking to like a lot of Black women about their reproductive wellness and stuff, and how they had to turn to herbalism and stuff because the MD doctors just didn't respect their wishes, didn't think that their pain was actually there, and just things of that nature. So yeah, that's another thing that sparked my interest.
Yeah, and that is such a huge problem, especially with, especially with infant mortality as well as maternal mortality during like, the labor and delivery process. So I'm glad that you feel like it's something that really inspired you because it's such an important thing right now, especially in our world today. Um, so that leads me to ask you, how did you talk about all these different challenges that have come and how you've overcome them, but I'm sure you had a support system and network in place to help you. So how did you form that support system and that network to help you strive towards achieving your goals?
So first, I want to give thanks to my parents. First thing is my grandpa that I was just talking about. He is the first person that really gave me a lot of books, like instilled education, and that education is key to knowledge. And knowledge is power and everything. So him, of course, my mom and dad, um, they really helped like foster me into STEM and like being able to get into these different things, different academic things. So them as well, my godmom, my aunties, and just things of that nature. So first my family, and then when I'm talking about my professional development, of course, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where I found a lot of SSU alumni. Going to homecoming is where I found SSU alumni as well. So our alumni for Savannah State, because I did not know we had postdocs at Stanford, and just like I didn't even know about you. Like they don't talk about like how they just talk about, oh, we got Gulf Stream people, but it's so much more that our cost alumni has done that we just don't learn about. And it's not just like, oh, back in the 1990s. These are like 2015, 16, even 2020 graduates that we just don't learn about. Um, so that too. Um, Knowing Dr. Phillips, she was a big improvement. Definitely finding and like reaching out to the ACS president. I actually saw her like the first time finding her was during the ACS conference when I was 18. And like seeing her, and like I believe she's the reason why I got the opportunity for University of Puerto Rico, and why they took a second look at my application, because of her connections, because it is about who you know and not what you know. Because I had a when I was doing my first RU cycle, I had a 3.75 GPA and stuff. So you would think, oh, I'm gonna get accepted to something. No, I did 40 applications and I did not get nothing at first. Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, the fact that you had the grit and you kept going, like that is so amazing. That's inspiring. And like you said, we met through LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn, it's great. I mean, I think it's awesome, especially making sure that undergraduates know the importance of connecting with alumni and putting themselves out there, especially at conferences, because like you said, at least there going to conferences early and really networking is something I feel like, all students should know about. Um, yeah, you said some really powerful and amazing things. So I agree 100% that, it's important to lean in on your network. And it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So tell us a little bit more about your unique experience as a HBCU student. I know you talked about how going to HBCU that's not as large as like, Howard, Spelman, all those big names. So what is your experience like and how do you think that being at a smaller HBCU is an advantage for you?
So representing at like different conferences, of course I'm the only person most of the time that was represented Savannah State University. So it's definitely like you don't get like oh, okay, you get like why are you here? So that's definitely like yeah, you get definitely why are you here?
For
Especially like the
real.
ACS conference. Yes, especially the ACS conference because not only was I like the only Savannah State University person, I also didn't represent no research, but I got a grant. So they was like, "Why are you really here?" Because most people think you just get grant. If you get a grant, you have to have research to present, but
Right.
that's not necessarily true for all grants. Um, it just
Mhm.
depends on your research and how you formulate your essays and everything, and like show that you should be at that conference. Um,
Yeah, that's true because they offer different awards like just for career development. So that is so accurate.
mhm. So definitely going to those type of things. One conference I even went to, I was the only HBCU person represented in the chemistry section for GCures actually at Rice University this past November. So just really being like that person or that only person. Even for Puerto Rico, I was the first
Mhm.
HBCU student, I think, and that program been running for almost a decade. So just being that only HBCU student, because it's a different, I don't know how to say, it's a different angle than just being not only an African American student, but also be an HBCU student because they don't, especially being a smaller HBCU students, because
Right.
they're automatically gonna think, oh, if you're getting these opportunities, you're automatically, Howard, NCAT, or like Spillman or Clark Atlanta. And
Right.
when you say
Right.
Savannah State, they say Savannah. And they be like, or they just be like, "Oh, the trees, you mean scat?" No, I mean
Yes.
Savannah State
Yes.
University. Yes.
Look, this was
So,
5 years ago, but ain't nothing changed.
mm-mm. So I think it brings a unique perspective, and it shows you grit factor. It shows you resilience. So like now that I have that factor, when I'm a PhD student, I won't feel like I'm just ambushed with a lot because I already know how it feels to maybe you don't have all that grant funding. Maybe you don't have all this. Maybe you don't have all that. And it doesn't feel like, oh, everything just come crashing down. It's like, no, you could just reassess the situation and keep on moving because I am going to become Dr. Rankins. It's not like oh, I'm overwhelmed, I quit. No, it's not gonna, it can't work like that.
Yes, you will be doctor. I know that's right, girl. And I love that. That's what I'm saying. Like, people got to talk life into themselves, especially when all the cards are just not in your favor. You're like, okay, I still got to push. I still got to do this. And that's called determination right there. And I think that's a powerful thing, especially right now with the unstable situation going on with science. But,
Yeah.
you still are doing amazing things. I mean, so that leads me to my next question where I brought up about, how funding is shaky. Despite all that, you got accepted for an internship to go to France, which is like crazy. That's amazing right now. But so what kept you motivated, especially during these times of uncertainty?
So during the cycle program, they didn't notify a lot of us for NSF that like a lot of these programs that was like in their cycling, like basically that was it for the program this year. So before that, I was just looking through like a lot of the NSF stuff and I was like, they're going up for the grant cycle. Like, of course, I should apply to some of them, but that shouldn't be like my all 20 internships I applied to. It's just those, just in case, they don't get refunded.
Mhm.
Especially, I actually read the 2025 plan. Like, I actually read when they're actually discussing this stuff. Most people don't read until it's actually impacting them, or they don't think it's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen until it's actually impacting them
Mhm.
individually.
Mhm.
Um, so they don't really care about what's really going on until it's them.
Yeah.
So I don't think a lot of people like talk about that. They just basically worry about themselves, and then if they hear something horrible, they be like, "Well, that got nothing to do with me." But
And
that's the
now it's
truth.
about to affect the ivory tower of research. And
Hmm.
everybody's like, oh.
Yeah, and now it's no longer, oh, African Americans have this problem or minorities have this problem. No, it's now everyone has this problem.
Yeah.
And we
Hmm.
kind of discussed this. Like some academics were basically discussing this, and it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like now it's the even playing field. Like everybody's worried about the grants, everybody's worried about this, and it's
Hmm.
not just no longer us.
Yeah,
Because
I agree.
and it actually kind of set up us in a better position because we have already dealt with things like this. So we already know how to change verbiage. We already know how to do certain things because we already been trained compared to they have not been trained.
Hmm. Hmm. And see, I'm so glad you said that. That's a great, see, you keeping me motivated during times of uncertainty. That's right. Preach, girl.
So yeah, just doing that, really having my internship trackers, so knowing who's the program coordinators, emailing them, because they don't really tell you like the backup things. They just be like, oh, if you apply, you got this, you got that, you got your resume, yeah, you're gonna get something. They don't tell us, if you get what I mean. They don't tell us that, oh, you should really talk to the program directors, you should really do this and do that. You need to make sure you look at your emails in case they ask for interviews because they haven't been talking about it. But a lot of REU programs are now doing interviews. And I didn't realize it to this cycle. So you're thinking, oh, I'm just getting acceptance, not knowing your interview thing was 2, 3 weeks ago and you missed your chance.
Hmm.
So a lot of people are not realizing that. And then also having a story behind yourself. I might not have like the greatest GPA in the world, but I have shown other factors with my leadership. I have shown other factors with like showing that I'm a well-rounded person. And yes, science is an important part of my life, but it's not my whole life. And I think a lot of people like that story and they like how, like, whether my circumstances, I was still able to get opportunities, I was still able to do everything. And that's why you see me compared to the perfect MA student where they basically just did everything just to get to the MD or just did this, but it doesn't show that they have real passion. And that's why they get rejected compared to someone like me.
Yep, it's all about tenacity.
Hmm.
And I know you talked about your leadership skills, and I remember us talking too about some different things that you were involved with on campus. So, how are you using your knowledge to empower your community, not just on campus, but also, outside in the world?
So I am president and actually co-charterer for National Society of Black Women in Medicine. And it's funny that I am president of a medicine org, but I actually don't want to get an MD. Um, but I have saw that it was a real need for it because we haven't had a active pre-med community at Savannah State for almost 10 years, which is crazy to me because most of our actual graduates are biology graduates. So we have the need. We have people that actually want to get into these health careers. And I feel like it's no reason why you have a 4-year degree and you're going back to just going to go back to work at Walmart, going back to work at barista and stuff like that. The whole reason for college is to set you up with your career and for your job outlook. Like, yes, you have many experiences and fun throughout the way, but that is the main goal is to get a career. Um, and so I think basically we wasn't at the position to have resources and like it's a whole Black Doctors Association that people didn't know about it. Like people are willing to help us. We just have to outreach. It just
Hmm.
have to be an outreach. You just have to say, I need help. And if you don't know the people that you can say I need help to, of course you're not gonna say nothing. Um, so definitely that trying to inspire people. Now I have learned that you cannot help people that don't want to be helped. I
Hmm.
have came to that realization. Um yeah, some people you can give them the whole playbook and they still won't do it. Unfortunately. So that that is a saddened reality, but I have had to come used to that because if not, then you would just keep on pouring and pouring into people and you know, eventually you would drain yourself out.
Hmm.
So that's one thing I did have to realize.
Good thing you realized that at a young age.
Yeah.
Glad you know at this age and not 10 years from now. So, yes.
So yeah. So definitely being president of that definitely has helped me. That organization is definitely my little baby. You nurture it, you feed it, you make sure things happen. We went to our first national conference, me and 5 other girls. Yes, we went to Jacksonville for a day. We met the founders, the actual organization, national organization founders. Yes. So we met Ashley and Amber. We met a lot of other chapters girls. We met FAMUs, these bigger HBCUs, the founding chapter, just things of that nature. That was really fun. Um, Talking to different like chiropractor and just seeing other Black women show up in spaces that you don't usually see. Um, and that's the biggest thing is representation to me. So seeing
Hmm.
that, being president of STEM Volunteer Club and seeing like the kids' faces and how they glow up and these different STEM projects and stuff. But I'm also seeing that it needs to be a lot more STEM stuff with our African American population, definitely. Because hearing like the career choices, it's like, okay, that's not cool being a YouTuber and stuff, but you know, I feel like if they have a different outlook into STEM careers and like what is actually happening, and it's not just, you know, I don't want to be a born coder or engineer. But if you was to hear like, oh, I could be a cosmetic scientist and I can formulate my own makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Like that sound cool. Or like the things that I really want to do, like, you used to mix potions and stuff in your bedroom and stuff when you wasn't supposed to, and that could be an actual career. Like, I think that would be cool. So it's all about representation and exposure, I think.
I agree. Definitely the exposure because I can attest, I didn't grow up in a place where STEM careers were exposed to students. So like you said, it's good to really get in there and inspire and promote it to our community. So I guess one of the last questions I want to ask you is what advice would you give students who want to become scientists in the future? I know that's a hefty question, but and what are your thoughts?
I have a couple. Um, you have to be resilient. Um, because not only is, oh, it's just about classes, it's about, oh, these conferences. Oh, I gotta do this. I gotta do A, B, and C. I gotta get these internships. I gotta do all this. Like, no longer just getting the degree is gonna cut it anymore. Unfortunately. And I think a lot of people is not realizing that. And that's why even now they're getting these STEM degrees and it's like, okay, you got a degree. Cool for you. That doesn't mean nothing, no experience.
Hmm.
Because these jobs and careers and stuff, they're looking more into experience. What have you actually done? Because anybody can really get a degree. So yeah, definitely you need to figure out how to get experience. Find a mentor, find a mentor. And sometimes the mentor doesn't have to be STEM related or don't have to be the most like versed in chemistry and stuff. One of my biggest mentors, Mr. Dean, he's not the most versed in chemistry, but he was the first person that gave me my recommendation letters. The first person that really made sure that I was okay in the different things that I wanted to do. He was the first person that gave me my recommendation letter, him and Dr. Shin, for my ACS conference. And I feel like if I never would have went to the ACS conference, I never would have had so many opportunities. Oh, that's another thing. Once you're given one opportunity, you need to learn how to multiply that opportunity. Because if you just stop at that one opportunity, that's on you if you mess it up and you don't
Hmm.
multiply. And you can't blame nobody but yourself.
Take some responsibility, y'all. Be
Yes,
accountable. This generation
yes,
don't know how to be accountable.
yes. They don't know how to be accountable. Like some people, they go to these career fairs, they go to these different things, and they be like, well, nothing happened. I asked, did you get any business cards? Yeah. Did you call nobody? No. What was the point of getting the business cards?
Just to collect them.
Just to collect. What was the point? If they give you their business card, they want you to reach out. That's why they give you the business card.
See, and that's
So
good networking skills.
mm, but definitely that. So make sure you get your opportunities. Um, and just really, I don't know.
Put yourself out there.
Yes, you got to put yourself out there. You have to talk.
Yeah. And how can our scholars connect with you? Do you have any social medias, LinkedIn? Like how can people get in touch with you or be able to learn more about you?
Yes. I have a Instagram. It is Mori Mori underscore the scientist. And I also have my resources page, Dear Tiger 1890.
All right. So I'll make sure that our scholars know exactly how to connect with you. And thank you so much for agreeing to do this. You really have some wise words. You are wise beyond your years, which is amazing. And I know you're going to do powerful and amazing things. So thank you for inspiring and uplifting our community today. And thank y'all for watching. And we'll be back for more. Bye.